You know that one tenant who acts like every rule is a suggestion? That was Dylan Harper, my tenant on the second floor of my 4-unit block in Sydney's Inner West. When he first moved in, I thought I'd won the tenant lottery, charming, polite, rent paid on time. He even brought a bottle of Shiraz as a thanks for having me. But the one clause in his lease he didn't like? No pets allowed. I wasn't being cruel. I'd had a rat infestation 2 years earlier thanks to someone's temporary rescue cats. It cost me thousands to fix and nearly lost me another tenant. So I'd drawn a hard line, no pets, period. He smiled and said, "Got it, totally fair." I should have known then that was his polite way of saying, "I'll do it anyway." 3 weeks in, I was pruning the lemon tree near the stairwell when I heard it bark. Faint, but clear. I froze. It wasn't the TV. It wasn't the street. It came from inside Dylan's flat. I knocked, no answer. That night, I texted. "Hey Dylan, I heard some barking earlier, maybe from another unit?" He replied fast. "Haha, nah, I was watching a YouTube video, sorry if it sounded real." Except the next morning I spotted tiny muddy paw prints by his door leading right to his doormat. A few days later, my downstairs tenant Rita, a retired nurse, knocked on my door holding a broom like a sword. "Elena, I saw something slither past my unit last night." I raised an eyebrow. Slither? It was a snake. It went right toward Dylan's place. I didn't believe her until I checked the hallway CCTV. Sure enough, there it was, a ball python sliding casually across the tiles at midnight. And there was Dylan, half asleep, scooping it up with a grin. I replayed it 5 times. Dog and snake? Who was this guy Dr. Dolittle from hell? When I confronted him, he laughed nervously. "Oh, that? Yeah, the dog's my mate's. He visits sometimes." "And the snake?" I asked. "It's, my cousin's science project. I'm just helping out." "Right, because science projects always involve live pythons." I reminded him of the no pet clause. He smiled again. "Won't happen again." Except that night, at 2 a.m., the dog started howling. Then again the next night. And the next? By the end of the week, I had 3 noise complaints and 2 tenants threatening to leave. That's when I realized this wasn't a tenant issue, this was a battle of wits. Every morning, Dylan left a bowl of kibble outside his door for what he called outdoor feeding. I'd walk past it and think, "You arrogant little rule breaker." And then it hit me. If logic doesn't work, maybe psychological warfare will. So one night, I replaced his dog's kibble with something technically edible but utterly revolting. Asterisk half a tin of unsalted boiled pumpkin. Asterisk a splash of fish oil. Asterisk and a sprinkle of garlic powder for that gourmet punch. Not dangerous, but definitely disgusting. By morning, the dog sniffed it, gagged, and refused to eat. Dylan came out, wrinkled his nose, muttering, "What the hell?" The next day, he stormed to my door holding the bowl like it was evidence in a crime show. "Elena, someone's tampered with my dog's food." I blinked. "Dog? You just said you didn't have one." He froze. You could see the realization hit. He looked at the bowl, then at me, then back at the bowl. I meant, a stray I feed sometimes." Just then, Rita popped her head out and said, "Stray my foot, I saw it sleeping on your couch." The hallway erupted in laughter. Dylan turned red. And I knew I'd just won round 1. A week later, I was cleaning the shared freezer and found a box labeled snake feed. Inside, frozen mice. In the same freezer as everyone's food. Disgusting didn't even begin to cover it. So, I decided to make the experience educational. I replaced the frozen mice with tofu cubes, same shape, same size. When thawed, you couldn't tell the difference. Later that night, a scream echoed through the building. Dylan was outside, pale and panicked. "Elena, my snake's sick. It threw up these weird cubes." I smiled sweetly. "Oh no, maybe it's lactose intolerant." 3 days later, I got the best text of my month. "Hey Elena, I'll be vacating next week. Just doesn't feel like a good fit here anymore." I almost laughed. I helped him pack, making sure every last reptile and chew toy left with him. When he drove away, the building felt lighter, quieter, cleaner. After Dylan left, peace returned. The other tenants even bought me a thank you card that said, "To the best pet detective in Sydney." I updated the lease policy with a small note. If pets are discovered, their feeding arrangements may be subject to creative correction. Now, it's a running joke around the building. New tenants whisper, "Don't try sneaking in a cat, Elena's watching." And honestly, I love it. Because revenge doesn't always have to be cruel, sometimes it just needs to be clever, disgusting, and poetic.
Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this, go watch the one on the left and don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more tales of triumph over injustice and a saga of ultimate revenge.